woke up this morning and the first thing I read was that Gaza had broken the ceasefire with Israel since the last armed conflict broke out this past November. Check out just a few of the headlines I saw regarding the attack. CBS News writes that Gaza militants fired rockets into Israel. One rocket into Israel, police say. And the LA Times reiterates the same. Gaza militants break ceasefire with rocket attack into Israel. And ABC News is close behind, with first Gaza rocket in 3 months rattles ceasefire. All right, while it is a fact that Gaza fired their first rocket since the ceasefire, this segment ain't called weapons of mass distraction for nothing. The corporate press is so quick to pounce on a rocket attack against Israel. But where were they during the dozens of instances in the last 3 months where Israel has been in violation of the ceasefire? Incidents that we would never hear about from the corporate media. Just check out this chart. All of Israel's violations information is on record from the UN's Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. What it shows is the number of recorded instances of Israeli attacks against Palestinians since the ceasefire. Take a look. 4 deaths, 91 injuries, 63 instances of shootings along the border, and 30 attacks against Palestinian fishermen. You see, according to the same records, before the rocket fired against Israel, which thankfully resulted in no injuries or loss of life, there had only been 2 instances of Palestinian retaliation since the ceasefire, which also resulted in no casualties. That changes the story a little bit, doesn't it? But I guess that's the warped law of proportionality when it comes to the issues involving Israel and Palestine. No matter how many violations of international law are committed by Israel, it's all swept under the rug until the tiny strip of land living under their brutal military occupation strikes back, and then all hell breaks loose. Now, another thing you won't hear about this attack is the actual context behind it. As it turns out, the Gaza rocket was launched in direct response to the death of a Palestinian prisoner who died in an Israeli prison. Although Israeli officials claim that the prisoner died from cardiac arrest, an autopsy has revealed that he was actually beaten to death. But unfortunately, he's one of thousands. There are countless other Palestinians unjustly being held in Israeli prisons, some for the crime of simply crossing into Israeli-occupied territory. One such man is Samer Asawi, who's nearly on his deathbed, suffering from a hunger strike that he's been on for 200 days to protest his detainment. His treatment, along with that of other prisoners, has sparked almost daily protests and have heightened tensions between Israel and Palestine for weeks. Of course, all of this is information you won't hear from the corporate press, the same news media that chooses the establishment line over the right line, which chooses to protect Israel when it should be condemning Israel. And it's a shame, really, because the media's complicity means the deafening silence of human rights that can't afford to be ignored any longer.